Hey, I'm Ted. Welcome back to another Schoolie video. Getting insurance for your schoolie can be tricky and frustrating, and so today's video I'm going to show you how you can do it hassle-free and fast. Coming up. Alright, getting insurance for a schoolie can be tricky, and here's why. Part of it is people just have no idea what you're talking about. So you want to do what? Unfortunately, many insurance agents aren't spending their evenings poring over YouTube videos on how to convert schoolies, so they have no idea what you're talking about. And so it's something that's unfamiliar. Second, for the most part, schoolie owners are do-it-yourselfers. You know, it's a big reason they chose the schoolie route, and so they can customize and do the things that they want to on a budget. Unfortunately, well, the reality, I don't know if it's unfortunately or not, the reality is many DIY schoolie builders don't have a ton of building experience, and that's not to say they can't develop those skills, but many insurance companies are leery of people sort of doing it yourself and not attaching things properly or doing propane incorrectly or electricity. You know, there's certainly some pitfalls there, and to have the whole thing go up in a ball of flames is terrifying, I think, to insurance companies, and so they'd kind of rather not, if they can help it, take on those type of risks. Similarly, once you register a school bus as an RV, you don't need a CDL. And so you have people driving 26,000-pound vehicles with air brakes that they may or may not have the skills or the knowledge to do so. So again, part of that risk that insurance companies are nervous to take on. Another frustrating aspect of getting insurance are the lack of consistency. You know, you call or you hear online, oh, so, I did that with my company, with this such and such company, and then you call that company and like, no, we don't do that. So there's a lot of inconsistencies among the industry that makes things really challenging to do. And it could be just state to state, it could be agency to agency, and so you get a whole bunch of rigmarole that makes it difficult. However, there is a solution. And what I found, and again, I went through sort of two different ways. The original part, when we bought the bus, we needed to get a policy just to move it from, from where we bought it to home again, and did the scramble. Finally came across Good Sam Insurance, and they were really helpful. It was a little bit pricier than I really wanted it to be, but it wasn't overly difficult. So again, I'll put the links to the companies below for you. However, we really only used that insurance policy to get it home, and then since it was going to sit in the driveway pretty much for several months, we decided to take off that policy in order, just to save some money. When it came time to reinsure it, now we're getting closer, and I needed to move it around to, get the ceiling spray foamed, and I wanted to test drive and do a couple things, take it to a mechanic, and so we wanted to sort of redo that policy. And so a woman's name came up frequently in most of the forums and social media, Kelly Newsom out of Florida with Allstate. And so I wanted to talk to her in person and get a sense about what things made things difficult. And what she said was that it's really, like I kind of already said, is the education, that people just don't know anything about schoolies. And so what her approach has been is I educate. So now she has a person in pretty much every state that she has talked to and said, this is how you set up the policies. And so when you call Kelly, she'll set you up with a person in your state, an Allstate agent who knows everything about schoolies, and then you can have things ready to go. So a couple caveats. Depending on where you live in the different states have policies about multi-coverage, in the sense that you need a multiple policy. So for us, living in Maine, we needed to have multiple things covered under a policy. We couldn't just get an RV policy for recreational vehicle. And the rationale was that states were reluctant for people to have just a policy, one policy, because it's too easy to cancel. And so you could set up this policy for your RV, then cancel it, and you've got a 26,000-pound vehicle running around uninsured. By having multiple items under a policy, then you're less likely to cancel it, I suppose, the rationale. I'm not sure how much sense it makes, but that's the best way I understood it. Maine is one of those multi-state policies, so we did have to, if we didn't have a vehicle insurance with Allstate, so we had to go. We elected to. So for us, we only have a couple things we could really insure. We have the schoolie, we have our vehicles, and we have our house. My lovely bride has been with our car insurance policy for years, and she was reluctant to leave them, and really for good reason. They've always been fantastic with them, so it was kind of tough to leave them. And so we looked at, so what we ended up doing is switching over our house policy. They gave us a very comparable, if not even a better policy and better coverage. So we bundled. Well, we had an additional policy, so we have a house insurance policy with Allstate, and now we also have the schoolie insured with Allstate as well. Oh, and one more caveat. Allstate also requires that their schoolie owners or builders are experienced. Experienced builders, I suppose, to be more specific about that. But that is sort of a general term, and so they don't require to have a contractor's license or anything like that. So just sort of, it's relative. They say they take their customers at their word. So get some experience building something. So the process was really pretty simple. I got a quote. Kelly set me up with, or made a call to someone in our state. They got back in touch with me pretty much immediately and gave them all the specs on what we needed and information. And within a half an hour probably of the whole process, maybe 45 minutes, I had my insurance cards all set up and ready to go. So again, really painless in a lot of ways, but there's a bunch of, without knowing exactly where to go. And again, I think Kelly's right. I think it's an educational issue. So I'll put the link to her email and her phone number in the description below. And again, give her a call. And again, within an hour of the total process, you too could have your own insurance card. So, hey, I hope this video has been helpful for you. Like, subscribe, do all those things you do. Keep tabs on the build. We're making great progress, and again, hopefully to be finishing up here. Bugs are coming out in the next couple weeks. So, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.